Facebook ads versus YouTube ads for realtors, which one actually gets you more deals? I've spent tens of thousands of dollars on both platforms for real estate agents across states and Canada. And I'm gonna break down exactly the funnel, what works, and also the metrics like cost per lead, conversion rate, and lead quality so you can see which one is actually best for you. Because the truth is both platforms work. I'm not saying one's better than the other, but they're different benefits for a specific type of agents. So I'm gonna break it down. And if you know how to use them properly, you're gonna be able to get listings consistently with the platform that's best for you. So by the end, you'll know which platform to focus on, how to get the best ROI possible from these ads. So let's dive in. I'm gonna be as objective as possible in this video, go from my experience and also my experience learning and seeing what all these other big agencies, what all these other big companies are doing, so you can make the best and informed decision for you. So starting out with the funnel itself. So the first part of any ad that you're doing is going to be the targeting, right? So who are we actually targeting? So over on Facebook, starting out, you're only able to target people in a specific radius. So right here, what you would do, for example, you put in your city name, but you're only able to do at least a 10-mile radius around that area. So you can't exclude areas, you can't do zip codes, counties, neighborhoods. So you're not able, or you're very limited on the actual areas you're able to target in the first place, which it's fine for some people, depends on your market. But I know a lot of agents want to prioritize a bit of those higher income neighborhoods, right? There's always a couple of those where there's higher end listings, right? I know a lot of agents like prioritizing those. Maybe there's some areas that you wouldn't necessarily want to target, but on Facebook, you're almost forced to do that because you have no other choice. Whereas over on YouTube, you're able to geo-target pretty specifically. It's as precise as you can possibly get, right? You're not able to target a street name on any online ads at this point, but you can do neighborhood, zip code, city, and county. You can also exclude certain areas. As you can see, this is just an example, but you're able to get a lot more targeted with the areas that you're targeting. And then what I always say is, personally, if I'm spending money on ads, I want to make sure every dollar I'm putting into it is going towards a market that I actually want to work with, right? If you're paying for ads and it's showing to people, whoops, just move my camera. If it's showing to people who you don't even want to get listings or buyers in that area, it's a waste of money, right? Why are you spending money on that? Now, it's not a huge deal for a lot of agents, but it's always nice. The more specific you can get, the better. Now, the other part about YouTube is because it is owned by Google, you're able to target people based on what they're actually searching for on Google, right? So it's going to be someone who owns a home and is looking up how to sell your home fast, selling your home as is, what's my home worth, stuff like that. So we know this person's in the market to actually sell. Whereas on Facebook, there's nothing like that because it's not a search engine. It's where people go to just scroll. So you're not able to target anybody at all based on any intent that they've shown, based on what they're clicking on, right? It's all going to be basically you're basically throwing spaghetti at a wall and hoping something sticks with Facebook because you're not able to target those people, which is why a lot of times Facebook gets that reputation for having such low quality people. It's because you're not able to target anyone who has intent in the first place, right? So that's kind of the first difference with them in the funnel. And I'm going to break down like the differences in numbers, which I'll show you. But that's why Facebook, you're able to get a ton of leads coming in, but they're not necessarily going to be very motivated people just because you have no way of actually targeting them in the first place. Now, the second part, after someone clicks on it, or actually after the targeting, that's where your ad's going to show up. And on Facebook, you can, of course, do different stuff. You can do videos, but this is what I find a lot of people do. It's either, hey, get a list of homes or get a home value report, right? This is just a random ad that I took from Facebook. But this is what a lot of agents are running. And you see it's just very generic. It's a picture of a home. Super, super simple, right? You can probably get a lot better with the ad copy. Even when I did Facebook ads, it was a lot better than this, but it was just a lot of generic stuff. It's really not branded to you at all besides just the Facebook page, but that doesn't do anything. But this is why a lot of times when you do call these people, they say, who are you? Why are you calling me? It's because they clicked on something like this. They didn't expect an agent to be reaching out to them, right? They think, oh, I'm just going to see what my home is worth. Now, why is this random realtor calling me? It's because you're not anywhere in the conversion process. Whereas on YouTube, because it's all Google, of course, it's all going to be branded towards you. It's going to be you. Your video is going to be branded. And they're clicking on the video on the ad because of you as a realtor as well, right? So you see 2 minutes and 20 seconds of video versus this. What do you think is going to bring in a more motivated? What do you think is going to bring in a more a better lead who actually trusts you more, it's of course going to be the longer video that's 2 minutes and 20 seconds that actually gets their attention rather than someone scrolling and just seeing a random picture of a home. And that's why with YouTube, you're going to get less leads for sure because you need more intent to watch this. But a lot of times that's the people we want to bring in. Someone who's qualified to buy or who owns a home is going to have a longer attention span. Not, and I'm not talking about crazy long, right? Everyone's a super short nowadays, but someone who has a lot more intent is going to be willing to watch something like this, whereas anybody can go click on this, right? If you have a 3-year-old daughter, she could still find a way to click on this and fill it out because she's like, oh, pretty home. And you got to think it's not much different when you're just targeting these homeowners. You're not able to do that, but you can kind of see the differences in the ads, right? So what I'll say right now though is if you're not really sure about kind of the marketing, you don't really have a process in place, Facebook ads are super simple. You can literally go put out a picture of a home. You can even do an AI generated one and you're going to start getting leads coming in. Whereas YouTube, you for sure need to have a process, a script in place. And I have a video kind of breaking down the exact script I use in a chat GPT prompt where you can basically copy it and get the exact same script using AI. If you do want that, just comment AI prompt below and I'll send that over for a high converting seller ad script specifically targeting homeowners. But if you want that, comment that below. But that's a big part with YouTube ads. You need to have a proven script, a proven template that you know is going to be able to convert these people, right? Because it's one thing to get a lot of views, a lot of clicks, but if you're not able to convert the attention, it doesn't mean anything, right? Because that's the whole point of it. But those are the two differences in the ads. You can do videos on Facebook, but again, it's going to be hard because you're not able to target it to specific people. So you're basically going to just be crossing your fingers and hoping the right person sees it. Whereas YouTube, it's all a video platform. People go there to learn, to be informed. So they're going to be a lot more likely to watch 2 minutes and 20 seconds of you speaking right to the camera. Right. So that's the ad itself. Now, the next part is the actual how we're actually getting their information. So over on Facebook, the typical, and you can do landing pages, but just keeping it simple. This is what a lot of people do. A lot of those big companies, I'm telling you right now, this is exactly what they do. They do a really generic ad. They do an instant lead form where you get email, full name, and phone number. And if you've ever seen these or you've ever clicked on them before, you know that it autofills all your information. So literally, if you have an account on Facebook that you created 16 years ago, it's going to have your original email, your original phone number in there, a random name, and you'll find a lot of people, you get wrong numbers because it's something they had 16 years ago, right? That's no longer relevant, doesn't even exist anymore. So that's why a lot of times you call them and it's just a fully wrong number, it doesn't work, it's out of service. It's because all this is just autofilled. None of it is actually them entering it themselves. It's all going to be auto-filled based on their account details that they probably made 27 years ago, right? Whereas over on YouTube ads, you're forced to make a landing page, right? There's no instant lead forms like on Facebook. This is again why YouTube ads are a bit more tricky because you need to have a proper process. You need to have a proper funnel in place and build a landing page out, which is tough for a lot of agents who aren't really well adversed in the marketing space, but you need to have a landing page. But this is going to be where you can get their information. The other thing that's great about it, number one, none of it's auto-filled. So they're all putting it in manually, which is just always going to bring in a higher intent person. What I've seen with these YouTube ads, every single month, you maybe get, I don't think I've seen a wrong number come in, maybe one or two out of like 150 leads is a wrong number. It's because they're manually entering it, but also they just perceive you as so much more valuable because you're in the video, right? It's so much different than this. The dynamic is just fully different. They're more willing to put in the time because they think what you're offering is actually valuable. I'm not going to go into exactly what to offer in the ad. I have a ton of videos on that. But you can also do with the landing pages is ask questions, get their address, ask, hey, what's your timeline? What do you think your home's worth? And stuff like that. But it's really all about finding the most high intent people. And it's going to be so much different than a Facebook lead form, right? Because all of it's manually entered, where this they just do it. It's just automatic for them, right? So anyone can do this. Whereas for this, they actually see, okay, I have intent. I'm going to take the time to do this because I find this valuable. And that's kind of the difference in that. That's why you're going to get less leads with YouTube ads, but they're going to have much more intent. They're going to know why you're calling. They're going to remember what they signed up for, which is why a lot of times with these Facebook leads, you call them, they say, I don't know what I clicked on. It's because they just saw a picture of a home. They clicked on this. It autofilled their information in 2 seconds. And now they're done. Now they have a random person call them. They're like, why are you calling me? Right. And rightfully so. Now with Facebook, that's where a lot of times it ends there. A lot of these, I'll tell you what these big companies do. Like, and this is after speaking with multiple just in the last month of these huge marketing companies doing big numbers every month, 50, 60, 70, $80,000 a month, speaking to the founders of them. All they do is have these Facebook lead forms, and they just have either automations on the back end, usually through Go High Level, or they have virtual assistants or ISAs calling all the leads for you. But it's really just for Facebook, it's really a numbers game. So if you can have an ISA that can work well, but of course you need to train them. But the thing is, you're not getting people who really respect you. They don't know, they still don't really know who you are. You're not building your brand with Facebook ads, which is, even though you can, it definitely works if you have ISAs and you're able to sift through hundreds of leads every single month. And I'm going to show you kind of the average conversion rate. I'll tell you right now, it's about 1% for Facebook leads. So every 100 leads, one is going to actually convert out of 100, sometimes even less than that. But you need to be okay with sifting through this or having someone do it for you. Otherwise, it's not a great use of your time. The one thing I will say is it's good for filling up your database as a newer agent, which I'll go over, like who each platform would be for, who I recommend. Because I'll say YouTube ads aren't for everyone, Facebook ads aren't for everyone. It's about finding what's best for you. But this is exactly what a lot of these big companies do. That's the exact system they do right there. Now with YouTube, after that, what we want to do is take advantage of these people who we've already paid for. We know they're motivated because they've put in their information, they have intent. Now we want to have an opportunity for them to book directly on your calendar. Whereas Facebook, a lot of times it stops there. But even if you did have a calendar on Facebook, it's going to be much tougher because these people don't know who you are. They don't know who they're booking with, right? So you're going to get a lot less bookings and just lower quality ones. Whereas on YouTube, they're clicking on your ad because they like what you're offering, and then they're going to be much more willing to book with you because they've seen you in person. It's the same thing with this channel. Like, you're going to feel a lot more trust towards me and booking with me because you've seen my videos over and over, rather than if I just had an image, hey, here's how you run YouTube ads, and just like some text, and then all of a sudden you just go book my calendar. Like, who am I booking with, right? And that's why it doesn't really work, even if you do it on Facebook, which a lot of people don't. But with YouTube, you're able to get a decent amount of just inbound appointments coming into you each month. Now, from there, you have the Go High Level automations. You can have ISAs calling, but really what I've seen with YouTube ads, you don't need an ISA. I don't recommend it, because I think part of it is you're building your brand. You're also able to convert these people a lot more because they're familiar with you. But the big thing is with these YouTube ads, when you call these people, they know who you are, why you're calling, and the actual value you can provide. Whereas on Facebook, when you call them, they don't know who you're calling. They don't know why you're calling. They don't know who you are. They put in wrong information. It's just a waste of your time. Whereas YouTube, you're positioning yourself as the expert, as someone who's actually trustworthy, and therefore they're actually looking out for that call from you. And it kind of changes the dynamic. Of course, we still have the automations and stuff to just kind of systemize it, right? You don't want to be doing a bunch of manual follow-up, right? So we have all the text, the emails, all that stuff going out automatically. But really, the big thing is that they're expecting your call, and that's really what it all leads back to. So that's kind of a breakdown of the two separate funnels right there. Now I'm going to go over and break down the metrics. I will say right now, both work. There's huge companies doing both of these. I'll say for me personally, I'll do YouTube ads over Facebook ads any day of the week, just from what I've seen for a specific type of agent, which I'm going to go over. But if you're looking for just as many leads as possible, Facebook ads is the way to go. If you're looking for quality over quantity, prioritizing your time, and just wanting to create leverage in your business, meaning not having to spend so much time prospecting, sifting through people, YouTube's the way to go. But I'm going to show you the exact numbers right now so you can make the most informed decision based on the data itself. And these are all just averages, but this is exactly what I've seen after spending tens of thousands of dollars on both of these platforms. So again, these are averages. Some markets are going to be a bit higher, some a bit lower, but this is a pretty good ballpark of these platforms. So I'm going to go over first the average cost per lead. So Facebook, it's usually about $8 to $15, and these are for seller leads, by the way. So for buyer leads, you can get leads for like $3, $2 on Facebook, right? Whereas YouTube, some of them $15, as cheap as $15. Others can get up to $150, even more than that. But again, you're with YouTube, you're paying for the intent, you're paying for the quality of the person. So of course it's gonna be more expensive. But even like Zillow leads nowadays, I was just speaking with an agent the other day. I think he was in the Denver area. He was saying the Zillow leads nowadays are like $750, right? Some of them even more. It depends market to market, but that's like what you pay for a solid lead, right? You pay big because it's gonna be someone who actually converts. Anyone can generate a name, email, and number, but that's not a lead because they're not really looking to buy or sell, right? So we're prioritizing those quality people. And of course, it's gonna be more expensive because it's tougher to reach them, right? Now, in terms of the lead quality, for Facebook, I would say 2 or 3 out of 10. 3 out of 10 is being generous, but again, you're gonna have to sift through hundreds of people to find one who's actually serious and looking to buy or sell. Whereas YouTube, it's gonna be pretty much as high of lead quality as you can get, just based on the targeting, the fact that it's video, but also it's just you're always gonna get higher intent people who put in right information and actually know why you're calling. And that's pretty much as high of quality leads as you can get. Someone who already knows, likes, and trusts you before you reach out, which is what a lot of people miss out on with these Facebook ads. Even if you have ISAs calling them, they still have no clue who you are, which is why a lot of times even the transition is tough. If your ISA hands them off to you, the no-show rate is usually pretty high because they're like, oh, I don't know who I'm being handed off to. I've never seen them before, right? So that's definitely the difference in the lead quality right there. Now, control over targeting. Facebook's all interest based, so it's not intent based at all. You can't do based on what people are searching for, and you're not able to geo target. It's all just radiuses. Whereas YouTube, like I showed you again, you can see the differences in the targeting right here. So YouTube again is going to be much more targeted, much more intent based. Now, personal branding, Facebook Medium, if you're doing an image like this, it's going to be poor. There's literally no personal branding in it. If you do a video on Facebook, it's a bit better. But for YouTube, of course, it is very high because you're going to be on video. You're showing your face, showing your kind of your message, getting people to resonate with you. And longer form, even like a 2 minute, a 1 minute, 30-second video is always going to be so much better for your personal brand than just doing a quick like TikTok style video, right? So for YouTube, it's going to be very high in terms of personal branding. Now, time to first result. This is one big thing. Like for Facebook ads, you're going to launch an ad and you're going to start getting leads in the first day of running them, right? And for YouTube, a lot of times it does happen. I'll say actually the second day is usually when the first lead comes in for a lot of agents that I work with. Sometimes it takes longer, like a couple days, 2, 3, 4 days for the first lead. But Facebook, that's like the quickest way you can get leads coming in. And then YouTube, it is a bit slower. The algorithm needs time to optimize a bit. So just have that in mind. Now, your positioning, this is one thing a lot of people don't talk about, but it's just the way you position yourself. Think about it. Where are all the other agents advertising? Pretty much in today's day and age, every single agent who's advertising, who's ran ads, or at least the ones I speak with hundreds every single month, have pretty much all done Facebook ads. And that shows you like the perceived value of these agents on Facebook is it's gone down so much because every single person's doing it. And they just see, okay, it's just another realtor trying to get my business. Oh, another list of homes. Oh, another home valuation. They've pretty much seen it all. So when you do call them, your perceived value is very low, especially if you don't even use video, right? Because they'd have no clue who you are. You have no positioning in the marketplace. You have no authority. Whereas on YouTube, I would actually say the positioning or the perceived value is very high, right? As compared to all these platforms. And number one, it's video, it's longer form, but also you're showing these people your value. They're clicking on it because they resonate with you. I would say that's about as high of a perceived value as you can get, even over like Zillow and Realtor.com, because they don't position you as just a random agent calling them on YouTube. They're clicking on the ad because of you specifically. They're going to perceive you almost as on like a pedestal compared to these other realtors because they've seen you on video. And it's just like when any YouTubers you watch, they're not like famous people. Like take me, for example. I'm not famous by all means, right? Um, I would say I'm not even popular on YouTube, right? Not even close. But when people do chat with me, they're like, oh, I've been watching you for 3 or 4 months. And they kind of perceive me as someone who knows what they're talking about. Of course, I do know somewhat what I'm talking about, but you perceive someone higher who you see on video because you can see the way they are, the way they talk, the way they think. And it's just going to help. It's just going to perceive the person on that video higher than someone who's not on video. Especially when you're on YouTube, you're able to have a targeted message and you have the right script and stuff like that. You're going to be perceived as very high, and that's the whole point with it. By the time you call these people, I want them to know all the value you provide, and you're not having to qualify to them. They're having to qualify to you why they deserve to work with you, and it kind of changes the dynamic there. Excuse me. Now, the last part is the conversion rate. Now, this is on average. You can boost these on each platform if you add more questions on the front end. But with these funnels, Facebook, it's going to be about 1%, sometimes less, sometimes it can be a little more. But so for every 100 leads, usually about one of them is going to convert. So out of 100 leads, you're going to get one conversion. Now, whereas on YouTube, it's usually 6 to 10% for the conversion rate on average. Now, it does fluctuate market to market, agent to agent, of course, skill level. You need to make sure you're still following up with these leads, giving them phone calls and stuff. But just the difference in quality is going to massively change the conversion rate. So this is a 600 to 1,000 times percent increase for the YouTube leads in terms of conversion rate over Facebook leads, right? So when you think about it like that, it's pretty crazy, but that's how you justify the higher cost per lead. It ends up averaging out and ends up even being a better ROI with YouTube because, yeah, you're getting less leads, they're a bit more expensive. But if you're converting 6 or 10 out of 100 rather than 1 out of 100, think about how much more money you're going to make from that, right? Even taking the cost per lead into account, but you're also building your brand at the same time. So that's the exact numbers, kind of what to expect. That's as rough of an estimate as I could give, as objective as possible. Now I'm just gonna kind of finish up by saying who I think YouTube ads are for and who Google and who Facebook ads are for. Excuse me, right? So starting out with Facebook ads, I will say if you're a newer agent, especially if you're not doing at least 6 deals a year, ideally like 12. If you're doing less than 6 deals a year, I would just stick with Facebook ads, right? Because the agents I found do best with YouTube are ones who have a proven track record, are able to convert these online leads. Now, I will say every agent thinks they're the best at converting online leads. You ask them how many leads you can convert out of 10, they say, "Oh, I'll convert 10 out of 10." And then you go send them 10 of the most serious people in the world, they end up fumbling all of them, right? So if you don't have a proven process or conversion system in place, I wouldn't even bother with YouTube ads. You need to you need to crawl before you can start walking, right? So I think you need to get more deals under your belt. That's a great way for Facebook because you're going to get hundreds of leads. You're able to kind of practice, get a system in place because these leads are different than a referral lead, right? Nothing's like that. And a lot of agents think that these online leads are just going to be like a referral coming into them. YouTube, that's kind of the positioning you have, is it's almost like a referral quality lead, but nothing is going to beat a referral, right? So that's a wrong perception a lot of agents do have. You're not paying for these ads expecting for more referrals because that's just impossible, and you're going to be heavily disappointed. Especially with Facebook, YouTube, you definitely can get more leads like that, but even then, nothing's going to beat a referral. So you need to have a process of actually converting online leads, someone who doesn't know you already. But that's the beauty of YouTube, is you're getting in front of them. You're helping to build that relationship, getting touch points with them before you do reach out to make your life easier. But I wouldn't do YouTube if you're not able to convert leads, because when you do get them, again, they're gonna be more expensive. They're not cheap at all compared to like Facebook, for example, right? So you want to make sure that every lead you're maximizing your chances, you have the right process in place. Now, something I do as well for all the agents is help them with the conversion process. So we have the automations and stuff to kind of set them up, to kind of tee up those calls, but also having the right script on how you deal with these leads. And that's something you develop just from experience calling these leads, having the conversations. It's something I have with all the agents I work with. I give them a script from what I've seen works best. And you need to have a separate script for calling these leads, a separate process for these, rather than someone who just comes inbound to you, right? A referral is obviously great, but you need to have a process for these leads as well. So if you're doing less than 6 deals a year, you're a newer agent, I would say for sure just go with Facebook ads. Now, if you're doing more than that and you really do want to take your business to the next level, and you do have the means to invest in it, because again, I'll say with both these platforms, they're Facebook is relatively cheap, but you're gonna still need to spend 1,000, 2,000 bucks to get a conversion right out of 100 leads. Whereas it's similar on YouTube, spend like 1,000 bucks to get a conversion. Depends on the cost in your market, but you need to be willing to actually invest in yourself, invest in the business, and trust yourself and be confident in yourself to convert these leads. Right. So both platforms do work. I'll say YouTube if you're going for quality, if you have a conversion process in place, you're already doing consistent volume every single year. And Facebook, if you are a newer agent looking to get experience with online leads, calling leads, and just fill up your database as well. But I'm just gonna wrap up the video right there. If you do want to learn more about YouTube ads, kind of how they work, you can see the name of this channel is YouTube Ads for Real Estate Agents. So it's literally all about YouTube ads. I do have a 3-hour entire training specifically for real estate agents. I walk through every single step of this process, literally setting it up with you so you can go out and just copy it. If you do want that video to go check it out, it's completely free. Just check the link in the description or comment course and I'll send that video over to you. Again, it's completely free, but it's literally a 3-hour and 30-minute training specifically for realtors. Now, if you do want me to set all this up for you, specifically the YouTube ads, and it aligned with you, you think it sounds interesting, you want to learn a bit more, feel free to check the link in the description. It's going to be the first one, and just book a strategy chat with me where I'll go over kind of what this would look like in your market, answer any of your questions, and see if it would be a good fit for you. But I do hope that you got value from this video. If you have any questions relating any of this, you want me to compare other platforms, feel free to comment below because I've done every single type of ad under the sun, speak with hundreds of agents every month. So I'm very familiar with how all of them work, what all the funnels look like, but I'm happy to make videos on anything you guys want. I just appreciate your feedback so I know what would actually be helpful and beneficial to you all. But I do appreciate you watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I'll see you in the next video.